Okay. Yes. Good morning, everyone. I hope I am audible right now. Yes. Okay. Fine. So yes. Good morning, all. So today in today's lecture we'll be discussing further about decision tree classifier. So let us start our discussion. Let me share my screen. All right. Yes, my screen is visible. So in previous lecture we started our discussion on decision tree classifier. Okay, we started the discussion on decision tree classifier, and we discussed that is similar to linear regression. In linear regression, our hypothesis space, our hypothesis space h of x was of linear form, a linear function that we were trying to fit on our data. Okay, similar to that in decision tree classifier, our hypothesis that the learning algorithm that we have is a decision tree. Okay, decision tree is the learning algorithm that we have. So in this, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a decision tree for our data. So we have a set of data based on which we are trying to create a decision tree. Also, we have a bias in this. One bias, inductive bias that we have in decision tree classifier is that we'll always try to choose a decision tree which is smaller in size. Okay, and we'll discuss overfitting and underfitting in case of decision tree classifier, which will be based on the depth of the tree. Okay, this overfitting and underfitting will be a function of depth of tree. Okay, so we'll discuss that too later on. First, what we are discussing is whenever we are creating a decision tree classifier, our bias is that we have to choose a decision tree which is smaller in size. For that purpose, we are trying to choose a root node. Okay, root node based on which we'll divide our data. Okay, we'll split our data. So first, there is an attribute constraint. There is a constraint splitting criteria here. Okay, splitting criteria that is present in the root node, and in this case we are taking the splitting criteria as the splitting attribute, and we will choose the attribute as the root node or as the decision node. This is the decision node that we have. We'll choose the decision node such that it gives us maximum information. Whichever node gives us maximum information, that node will be chosen as the decision node, and we'll split our data based on that decision node. Okay, based on that particular attribute. Fine. Up to this, everyone was clear, right? Then we had started our discussion on our first decision tree learning algorithm, that is ID3 algorithm, in which we were utilizing a particular attribute selection method, which is information gain. Okay, information gain. If you recall, we had discussed about entropy and information gain in the previous lecture. Yes, so entropy was actually, what was entropy? Entropy was randomness of data, and we also saw the graph of entropy versus the probability. Yes, everyone recalls this. Yes, and we saw that we'll choose an attribute which gives us maximum information. In short, it tries to, if we are trying to split our data D, in using that particular attribute, yes, minimum entropy, right? If we are trying to split our data using that particular attribute, then our if the entropy of the system decreases, then we'll choose that particular attribute to split our data, right? Is it clear? So we were discussing about our the first algorithm that we were discussing was, just a minute. So we were discussing our first algorithm, that was ID3 algorithm for decision tree decision tree classifier. So this was our algorithm, and we were trying to trace through this algorithm in the previous lecture. So let us go through that again, just because some of you were facing difficulty in understanding. Okay, so This is our algorithm, ID3 algorithm. In the ID3 algorithm, what is the input that we are passing is we are passing our examples, where examples state that if we have an entire data set D, the set of examples means instances that we have in our data set. We are passing a target attribute, that is our label. For example, in the play tennis, the play tennis is our target attribute, and we are passing the attributes of our data. So for a previous data set, our attributes, for example, in this, our attributes are outlook, temperature, the humidity, and wind. Okay, these are our attributes that we are passing in the decision tree classifier. So now we are going to build the decision tree classifier based on this. So first step is, for example, before going, first step is to select the root node. Okay, first step is to select the root node. So before that, we'll observe our data. So for example, if our entire data set is belonging to a single class, for example, all the data is being classified into yes class, or all the data is being classified into no class, means all the data, the target attribute is same for all the data, all the instances. If it has similar target attribute, then we have to create a single tree node with yes as the label, yes as the leaf node, or no as the leaf node. That is clear? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Now next, what will happen? Suppose we have suppose while we are iterating through, while we are creating this decision tree classifier, suppose this is a decision tree classifier that is being created. Just consider this example, and suppose we are reaching at a point over here, and suppose all the attributes present in our data set are empty. Okay, empty means what? So first, what we'll do, first we'll split, first perform, we'll do the first split based on attribute A1. Now after performing the split based on attribute A1, we'll perform the second split based on attribute A2, third split based on attribute A3, and suppose after performing the split, we are further having certain, now we have data set over here. This is not leaf node yet. Leaf node will contain what? Leaf node will contain our target attribute. But suppose we are left with certain data set D5 over here, certain data set, subset of data set D5 over here, and all the attributes that are present in your data set have exhausted. Exhausted means what? If you will perform the first split based on A1, then you won't consider that particular attribute to perform the split again in your data set. You will use that attribute only once to perform the split. Okay. So suppose after reaching at this point, if all the attributes have exhausted, on the right side it is A3. Yes. It should be A2. No, it should be A3 only. See what will happen whenever you are performing the split, you will use the attribute to split the particular data set only once. Okay, suppose you are choosing attribute A1 and it has two values. Suppose attribute A1 has two values. Let me show this. Suppose let us consider Outlook only. Okay, Outlook has three values. So you will create? You will create three branches for sunny, for rainy, and for overcast. Okay, you will create three branches, and similarly you will choose dataset D1, there will be dataset D2, and there will be dataset D3. Now what you will do, you will observe dataset D1 will contain all the instances where value of Outlook is equals to sunny. Dataset D2 will contain all the instances where value of Outlook equals to rainy, and dataset D3 will contain all the instances where Outlook is equal to overcast. Okay. Now what will happen is, now you will again observe this data, and check if all the data set are belonging to yes class. Yes, is it? If it is not belonging, then again you will split the data, but you will not consider this particular attribute to split the data. Now this won't be considered anymore because you are already splitted the data set on this attribute, right? So suppose you are considering attribute, suppose windy you are considering as an attribute to split this data, and you have split this data, then again when you reach to rainy and overcast, you will not consider windy as an attribute to split the data. You will consider the rest of the attribute that are remaining. For example, temperature and humidity. Okay, that are the remaining attributes. So you will consider them to split the rest of the data. So this attribute will be removed. That's why we'll choose A1. Here A1 was there, here A2, and here A3. Now is it clear? Is it clear, Janin? Okay, so we were at this point. So suppose after reaching at this point, after performing the windy classification, suppose after doing this windy, suppose we are still having the data set, still having a data set which is of mixed type. We are not reached any purer form of data. Okay, purer form of data means what? Data set will be in pure form with if all the target attribute, all the target values are of same form, all the target value attribute are of yes, or the target value attribute value is of no, then it is of pure form. Suppose we haven't reached any pure form, and suppose all the attributes have exhausted, all the attributes present in your data set have exhausted, then in that case what you'll do, you will return a single root node with the label, means the leaf node as most common value of target attribute. In example, suppose we have yes as most common value, then you will return with the leaf node value as yes, and if we have no as the most common value, then we'll return the leaf node with no as a value. Is it clear? This third statement is clear to everyone? Yes. Okay. Okay. So that may be possible. Yes, that may be possible, but still, according to what we are doing, according to our algorithm, we are not supposed to do that. But what you can do, you can check for this. For example, it may be possible that windy is giving more information, but once you use windy, you cannot use it further in other example. But I don't think so that condition will arise. Mostly that condition won't arise. But if so mostly what will happen is once you are used the windy, you cannot use it further. That is the case, right? Okay. All right. So let us go to the next part. So after this, otherwise will begin. Otherwise will begin means what? Otherwise, if these three conditions are there, otherwise what we'll do, we'll choose an attribute which splits our information, which is the best attribute to split our information, right? If these three conditions are not available, then we'll choose an attribute to best split our information, and then we'll split the information. We'll create examples here, d1 example, d2 here, and again we'll check. Suppose the example here, d1, suppose we have performed the split and there is sunny, rainy, and there is overcast, and suppose there is no example of overcast in your training data. Okay, there is no example of overcast in your training data, then again in this case also we will be choosing the leaf node as the most common attribute, target attribute value. In this case also we'll choose the leaf node with most common target attribute value. Otherwise what we'll do, otherwise we'll again, if this data is of mixed form, again we'll perform the splitting. Again we'll call the IDC algorithm recursively, and again we'll perform on next set of attributes. Again remaining set of attributes we'll select and perform the split. Okay, is it clear? This algorithm is clear to everyone? All the statements are clear? Yes, mostly from the left to right we are going. Yes, but what you do, let's try this. For example, you are doing this Outlook. Okay, you are doing this Outlook. They get to select the attribute, but see, but they get to select the attribute, but still we are selecting the attribute based on the best splitting attribute. Yes or no? Though it gets the priority to select the attribute, but still we are choosing the attribute that best splits the information. So it is not going to get an bias, but there is still a bias. For example, you can try this, maybe try this out. Just in whenever you are free, try this out. So we are performing a split on this, right? This particular data set we are doing this. Okay, right node is getting more information gain. Okay, that is one possibility that we are trying to check. Okay, right now I'm not aware that this is a possibility. I'll still check and let you know. But what you can do is try this in your free time whenever you are free. So we are performing the creating a decision tree for this entire database, right? That is what we are doing. So what you try to do, you try for the rainy first and then for the sunny, okay? And check whether you are getting a different set of answers based if you go for rainy first instead of sunny, if you are getting a different set of chance or not, okay? Just check this one out, okay? If we are getting, then we'll check again. Okay. But mostly I think the data will be distributed in such a way that it won't get this kind of problem that one will get a chance and other won't. So still check this out. I'll also check and let you know. Okay. Fine. So up to this, everyone is clear with the algorithm? Yes or no? Okay, so this algorithm is the ID3 algorithm that we have, which is your first decision tree. In order to create your decision tree classifier, we are using this algorithm to, and in this, the attribute selection method is information gain. So we already discussed the formula for information gain, if you recall. What was the formula for information gain? So first we calculated the entropy of the entire system, S, and entropy of the entire system was minus P positive log to the base 2 P positive minus P negative log to the base 2 P negative, and this was the entropy of the entire system. Then we calculated information gain. Information gain means we'll calculate information gain for by subtracting the entropy of that particular, by choosing that particular attribute to split your data, attribute A to split your data, and you'll check if the information gain is highest for that particular attribute, that attribute will be chosen to split your data, right? Okay, so this is your formula. So suppose here we are performing, for example, let us take this example. Suppose we are performing the split based on windy. Okay, based on windy, we are performing the split, and weak and strong. We have two values of windy, weak and strong. So what we'll do, we'll calculate the entropy of this windy as an attribute. We'll calculate the entropy. So this is the formula here that is present. The entropy of SV means S with value as weak, okay, and S strong. For both, we will calculate the entropy and we'll multiply by the weight. So weight is total number of values with total number of values in your data set with windy as weak, and total number of values in your data set with windy as strong. That is your weight that you'll be having, right? So we'll multiply by the weight and we'll calculate the entropy, and we'll subtract by the entropy of the system. So we'll get a value of information gain. Okay. So this, in this similar manner, you will calculate the entropy. You will calculate the information gain for the rest of the attribute, and you will choose an attribute with that best splits your data. That gives maximum information gain. Is it clear? Up to this, everyone is clear? The formula is clear to everyone? Yes. Okay. Okay. Fine. Will you calculate for humidity? Try to calculate the information gain. Let us do that for Outlook. So let us try to calculate the information gain for Outlook. Everyone, just try to calculate the information gain for Outlook. Just see that whether you are clear with this formula or not. So calculate the information gain for Outlook. Hello. So right now I'm giving you 2 minutes to calculate the information gain for Outlook. Tell me the value. Entropy of the system, yes, entropy of the system is 0.94. Okay, that is yes. Okay, what is the information gain for Outlook that you are getting? Okay, you're working. Fine. Yes, Janil has got 0.247. I'll wait for 1 more minute. Yes, this is the data set. Okay, yes, is everyone getting 0.247 as the answer? Hello? Okay, Keval, are you getting this answer 0.247? What about others? Okay, yes, Keval is getting. Others, I suppose others are also getting this answer 247. So this is the information gain for Outlook. Similarly, you will calculate information gain for temperature, humidity, and wind. And then we'll split the data set based on Outlook or whichever is having maximum information gain. So now after performing the split, we'll create the branches based on the attribute values. For example, we have three attribute values here: sunny, rainy, and overcast. So we'll create three branches and we'll create appropriate data sets as well: D1, D2, D3. Now again we'll split the data based on, suppose D2 has all the attribute value as yes, then we need not split the data again. So this already contains pure form of data. So we'll create just a leaf node. But other form of data are impure. Suppose D1 and D3 are impure form of data. So we'll again check for information gain with other set of attributes, that is with temperature, humidity, and wind. We'll check the information gain with that attribute, and here also we'll check and we'll split the data. Okay, that is clear? Okay, everyone is clear with this? So shall we proceed with the next part? So you have to iteratively keep doing this. Okay, so first in today also you try to complete this entire decision tree on your own, so that in the next lecture when we discuss, we can discuss that whether you are facing any difficulty with the calculation or not. So first today, after this lecture, try to finish this decision tree on your own by calculating the information gain and everything, so that we can discuss in the next lecture. Okay, fine. So now after this, we have the next. Suppose this is the first attribute selection method that we have. Now this attribute selection method, that is information gain, has certain drawback. So for example, this information gain will provide highest information whenever your attribute values are high for a particular attribute. So for example, here if you see Outlook is having three set of values. sunny, rainy, and overcast. And so it will be biased towards those attributes which have higher set of values. So for example, if you are having any attribute as id, attribute id suppose you are having, then attribute id will be this attribute will be unique for all the tuples, yes or no? For all the tuples this value will be unique. So what will happen, information gain for this attribute will be high. If you check this information gain, this attribute will be high because it will be biased towards those attributes which will be having large set of values. Okay, large set of values. So for example, if you have another set of attribute, let us consider date. So date is going to be unique for each tuple. Maybe the date is going to be unique for each tuple. In that case also the information gain will be higher. So but we do not want to create such type of decision tree. We want to create smaller decision tree, but we also want to make sure that the branches are not too very high. This is not very complex as well, right? We want to make sure that. So in that case we are coming with another attribute selection method. This is called gain ratio. Okay, gain ratio, to calculate the attribute, to select the particular best attribute, right? Numerical data is not preferred. No, that is not the case. We'll also see in case of numerical data. That is, first we are seeing at the right now we are dealing with only categorical data. We also have numerical data. Okay, numerical data also, like for temperature also we have. But see, for if temperature has varied set of values, for example 40, 60, 70, 80. Okay, yes, too many numbers, but we cannot create branches for all the numbers. What will happen, so this, if you see, this will be a case of overfitting. If you see, this will be a case of overfitting or not. If we are creating branches, we are learning the data too well. This cannot happen. But in case of such cases, whenever we have temperature or we are dealing with some numerical form of set, we usually we create a splitting point. Instead of splitting on all the values, we create a splitting point. For example, temperature greater than 40 will create a branch here, temperature less than 40 will create a branch here, right? Such types of splitting will be done. But okay, that is the case. We do not want to create branches, but if we in categorical form, also in categorical form of data, right now we are dealing with categorical form of data. So in this, if we are having unique set of values, for example, outlook, let's consider outlook. For example, outlook has 10 set of values here, 10 set of values. Then what will happen in information gain is, information gain will be higher for these because the attribute values are higher. Similarly, date, if you consider date or you consider id, so information gain will be higher. In short, it will generate multiple branches. Okay, it will choose an attribute which can create multiple branches, so easy to split the data easily, right? But we do not want that. We do not want to create complex set of trees. So for that, to avoid this problem that information gain is creating, we are using gain ratio. And another attribute selection method that we are using is gain ratio. Okay, is it clear why we are choosing, why we are coming to gain ratio? Everybody is clear with the idea, that problem that we are facing in the information gain? Yes. Okay, so what is the formula for, let us see the formula for gain ratio first. Okay. Okay, so gain ratio formula is the information gain upon the split information. So split information formula is, just a minute. Let us, when to use gain ratio. Okay, mostly see, whenever you have such type of attributes in your data set, which are having unique values. Okay, we have certain values which are having multiple number of unique values. At that point of time, it is preferred that you use gain ratio. Okay, but mostly in the data set, you will be, in a case of examination, you will be given that you have to use entropy. But see, this idea behind gain ratio is using whenever you have large set of values in your attribute, large set of unique values in your attribute. Since information gain is very biased, that's why we are utilizing gain ratio. So in gain ratio, what we are trying to do is, we are dividing the gain, information gain of our data, of our particular attribute, with the splitting information. That is the only thing that we are doing. Okay, we are dividing it with splitting information. So if you see, what is the splitting information formula? Just a minute. I'll increase the slide. Okay. So splitting information is your information that you get. The splitting information is the information that you get from a particular attribute. For example, if the splitting information splitting information for the attribute will be higher, which has large set of values. So for the attribute which has large set of values, for that the splitting information will be very high. Okay, but the attribute which have less number of attribute values, for that the splitting information will be low. So ultimately the gain ratio formula is the gain information gain upon the splitting info. Okay, so if the splitting information is high, that means if we are choosing id, so for id the splitting information will be very high. So ultimately that attribute will not be chosen, since we have to choose an attribute which has higher gain ratio. That means if the split information is lower, that attribute will be chosen. Is it clear to everyone? So gain ratio will be inversely proportional to splitting info. So if the splitting information is high, the gain ratio will be lower, and if the splitting if the splitting information is high, the gain sorry just a minute. So gain ratio will be lower, and if the splitting information is lower, the gain ratio will be higher, and we'll be choosing an attribute which has higher gain ratio as our splitting attribute. Okay, is it clear to everyone? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so this is the formula of splitting information. So for example, let us calculate the split information for okay, you want to create like this. Acha. See, but okay, in your data set, maybe you can create. So whenever you are dealing with your calculation, means you are creating your own particular data set while performing the practical, maybe you can try for this. One of the method that you are trying to do is 0 to 20 you want to categorize in cool, and 20 to 40 to mild, and that you can do that. Maybe that is one of the methods that you can do. But in certain cases, if you do not want to do, and suppose you want to identify using gain ratio, then this is another method. Suppose we are not doing this particular conversion in our data set. Suppose that might create some problem, and we are opting out of doing that. In that case, the gain ratio can be helpful to choose an appropriate attribute and avoid the bias that we have using the information gain. Are you getting this? Yes. Okay. All right. Let us see the formula for information gain. Splitting information that we have. So for splitting information, the formula is here, which is minus sigma I is equals to 1 to v dj upon d, which is log 2 of dj upon d. Okay, where dj is a set of instances with value with the attribute value is equals to j. Okay, and d is your entire data set sample. Okay, so here your entire data set sample is 14. Now dj, for example, we are calculating the splitting information for Outlook. So for splitting information for Outlook, we have three different values for j: sunny, rainy, and overcast. Okay, these are the three j values that we have. So we'll calculate dj for sunny, dj for rainy, dj for overcast, and we'll sum those values. That is our splitting information that we'll have. So here, as you can see, in sunny we have 5 instances, in rainy we have 5 instances, and in overcast we have 4 instances. So your splitting information value will be minus 5 by 14 log 2 5 by 14, minus 5 by 14 log 2 5 by 14, and minus 4 5 by 14 log 2 4 by 14. Okay, everyone is clear with the splitting information formula? Yes. And later what you have to do is just divide to obtain the gain ratio, you have to divide your information gain with the split information of that particular attribute. Okay, that is what your gain ratio is all about. So everyone is clear? So can you calculate me the split information for windy? Split information for windy. Here you have the data set in front of you. So can you calculate the split information for windy? What is the split information that you will get for windy? I'm giving you 2 minutes to calculate the split information for windy. Okay, 0.985, that is what you are getting. Okay, what about others? Okay. Yes. Is everyone getting 0.985? So 0.985 is correct. Yes. Okay. Yes. Keval is also getting. I hope others are also doing. Those who are not replying, I suppose that they are also performing this particular calculation. Yes. So 0.985 is correct. So in this manner, yes. Abhi. Okay. So 0.985 users split information. So I suppose that you are clear with what this calculation as well. So now we'll, so this is clear, this particular gain ratio is clear. So now we'll start with the third attribute selection method, that is Gini index. Gini index or Gini impurity also, that is both are similar. So we'll start with the third one. So this is clear, let us start with the third one. Yes? Okay. All right. Okay. So after this, Gini impurity is similar to entropy. Only the formula is different in case of Gini index, somewhat different in case of Gini index. So in Gini index, we are mostly trying to create binary trees. Okay, binary classification. We'll be trying to create binary split, and not multiple splits. We'll be trying to create binary split. How we'll be doing that? So for example, if we have a particular set of data set B, and suppose let us go through the example itself. I'll explain. So suppose we have an example here, class. We have a class and we have two variables, variable 1 and variable 2. So what we'll try to create, for example, variable 1 has three set of attribute values. Variable 1 is a attribute and it has three set of attribute values. For example, just consider that example. For example, it has 0, 1, 2. So what it will try to create, it will create different combinations of this 0 to 1. 0, 1, 2. For example, in this here, if you see an example, in case of income, if we have three set of values, high, low and medium, so what it will create is, it will create different set of combinations of this, and it will try to split, create a binary split between the data. Okay, binary split will be only created in the case of decision, in case of Gini index. And what is the formula for Gini indexes? First, we'll calculate the Gini impurity of the entire system. Like we calculated the entropy of the entire system, in this similar manner, we'll calculate the Gini impurity of the entire system, which is 1 minus summation of I is equals to, just a minute, let me show the formula. I is equals to 1 to m and pi square. That is the probability of yes class and probability of no class. So if we have the data set like this, if we use the same data set that we used previously, for example, if we have 5 yes classes and 5 no classes, and total number of data set is 10, so our Gini impurity will be 1 minus 5 by 10 the whole square plus 5 by 10 the whole square. So Gini impurity value will be 0.5. Yes or no? Is it clear? That is clear to everyone? Okay, so this is the formula to calculate the Gini impurity of the entire system. So the only difference in case of Gini impurity and entropy is the maximum value difference. So here in entropy, if you see, the maximum value of the entropy was 1. Entropy was 1, and in this case Gini impurity, the entropy, the maximum impurity that the system can contain is 0.5. Okay, that is the difference. Now this is the Gini impurity of the entire system. Similarly, now what we'll do, we'll create, for example, in this case we have we have two attributes. We have attribute v1 variable 1 and attribute variable 2. Okay, so not what we'll create, we'll find the Gini impurity for variable 1, we'll find the Gini impurity of variable 2, and then we'll subtract from the Gini impurity of the entire system S minus the Gini impurity of variable 1, and whichever value is higher, that variable will be chosen for splitting the data set. Okay, this is similar to what we did in entropy, only that we are having a different set of formula to calculate the impurity of the system. In this case, we'll be calculating the impurity of variable 1 and 2, and then we'll split on the attribute variable value, which will create highest, which will have highest value. Okay, so Gini impurity value of the entire system minus the variable Gini impurity of the variable 1. If this value is higher in comparison to the value difference of variable 2, then that will be chosen to split your data set. Okay, yes or no? Is this clear? Is everyone clear with this? Okay, so now one more thing that we have is, in this case we'll be creating binary split of the data. Okay, binary split of the data set. Okay, I'll repeat this. Okay, so see, what we are trying to do in this, we have two variables, variable 1 and variable 2. We'll calculate the Gini impurity of both the variables. Okay, Gini impurity is similar to entropy. Similar to entropy. In this case, in that case, we were calculating the entropy, that is the impurity by that is the irregularity of data, by splitting on variable 1. In the similar manner, by splitting on variable 1, we'll calculate what is the Gini impurity of this Gini impurity. Does it decrease? If it is decreasing using this variable 1, then variable 1 will be chosen to split the data set, and if it is decreasing with variable 2, then variable 2 will be chosen as the splitting attribute, right? This formula is similar. The formula that we are using to perform the split, that is just a difference, but the idea is similar. Are you getting? Okay, in this case also what we'll do, we'll calculate the Gini impurity of that particular attribute. So let us go through the example once. Hey, just a minute. Okay. Okay, so here if you see, this is an example, and in this case we'll be creating binary split. Binary splitting of the data will be done. Only binary splitting will be there. So also, suppose in variable 2 we'll choose we'll select Gini impurity for different variable values. For example, let us see, in this example we are choosing a threshold value. In case of continuous value, what we'll use, we'll choose a threshold value to split your data. So suppose we are choosing a threshold value as 32 and finding the Gini impurity of the system. Okay, Gini impurity. So here it is 0.375. Now we'll choose another threshold value. For example, let us take 45 as the threshold value. Again, we'll calculate the Gini impurity. So if in case the Gini impurity is lower, in case of 45, then 45 will be chosen to split the data. Are you getting? So we'll choose different subset, and from all the subset, whichever subset gives minimum impurity value, that is gives maximum gain of information, that will be chosen to split the info. Similarly, in case of categorical values, suppose we are choosing this as a splitting attribute. For example, we are choosing, suppose we are choosing Outlook as a splitting attribute, and we'll split on only two values. For example, we are splitting with the splitting will be two form. For example, we are splitting on sunny and rainy as one, and another is overcast. Suppose this is one split that we are doing with the data, with the attribute values, and suppose this impurity value is something like 0.375, and again we are splitting with other set of values, for example sunny and rainy and overcast, and this suppose is giving impurity value is equals to 0.275 or something like that, then this will be chosen to split your data. Are you getting? Whenever you are creating a decision tree classifier in practically, whenever you're creating using the Python libraries, what you'll do, you will pass a category as Genie in the in your decision tree classifier. So what is internally it is doing is it is choosing a set of attribute. So it will, from all the attribute, it will choose a subset of attributes which will split the data such that the Gini impurity is lower. Okay, so and also the split will be binary in case. So similarly in categorical it will choose different threshold values, and for each threshold values it will calculate the Gini impurity. Okay, and whichever threshold value gives the minimum Gini impurity, that will be chosen to split your data. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? Yes or no? Hello? Okay. Fine. See, well, see, in case of Gini impurity, let us go through this. See, first of all, I suppose that the Gini impurity of entire system is calculated. That formula is clear. Then we will calculate the Gini impurity for particular attribute. Okay, Gini impurity for attributes we will select. For example, we have two attributes, variable 1 and variable 2. These are the two attributes in our system. Okay, these are the two attributes in our system. Now, what will the machine learning algorithm will do is, these for this attribute, suppose this attribute has different set of values, 3 set of values or 4 set of values, then it will choose a subset of those attributes to split the data. Okay, here also if variable 2 has a continuous set of values, different set of values, then it will choose different threshold to split your data. For example, first threshold is 32, second threshold is 45, third threshold is suppose 38 or something like that. Okay, it will choose different threshold. Here also it will choose different subset of the values, subset of attribute values to split your data. And whichever subset, suppose this particular subset gives minimum impurity, suppose this subset will give minimum impurity, that will be chosen to split your data. Are you getting? Now is it clear? Similarly, for example, here in this example, for example, here we are choosing threshold value as 32 to split our data. As 32 we are choosing. But for example, the machine can go for 45 and can select for 38 or something like that, and will choose, for example, 38 gives the minimum impurity, then that will be chosen to split your data. So it is choosing a subset of attributes to split your data. Okay. Now is it clear? Okay, so now what we are doing, let us see the formula. So we are clear with the Gini impurity of the entire system, how to calculate. Now let us see this example to calculate the Gini impurity for variable 1. Suppose we are choosing to split the data using the variable 1. So how will we calculate the Gini impurity of that particular attribute is similar to that we did in entropy also. We calculate the entropy for that particular attribute value. So we calculated, in case of entropy, what we did, we had windy. Suppose windy as an attribute you are choosing to split your data. Windy had two values, weak and strong. So we chose to we calculate the entropy for weak, we calculated the entropy for strong, we multiplied it by weight of that particular attribute value, we multiplied it by weight again, and we summed and we subtracted this value, this entire entropy value, from the entropy of the system, right? That is what we did. Similar case you have to do in Gini impurity as well. You are calculating the Gini. So for example, variable 1 has two values, it is taking 0 and 1, two values it is taking. So what you will do, you will calculate the Gini impurity of this, you will calculate the Gini impurity of this. So here we have calculated this both Gini impurity, then we'll multiply this by weight, multiply this Gini impurity by weight, and you get the total Gini impurity of the entire variable var1. You subtract this value from the Gini of the entire system, and you get a value, information gain. Suppose information gain we term this, and whichever is higher, whichever value, whichever difference value is higher, that will be chosen to split your attribute, split your data. Is it clear? Is everyone clear with this? Yes. Okay. All right. What about others? Okay, still if it is not clear, we'll repeat this particular point in the next lecture also. But this is the main difference. The main difference is in case of Gini is similar to that of entropy calculation that we are doing. The only difference why we'll choose Gini index over entropy is because in Gini we are trying to calculate the square of the probabilities. Okay, if you see the calculation in case of Gini will be much easier to do as compared to entropy, because we are calculating log in case of entropy, which will be complex to do, okay, which is difficult to calculate. But in case of this we are just calculating the square, so which is easier to calculate, right? So that is the one difference that we have in case. That is why we'll choose Gini over entropy. One reason to choose Gini over entropy. Okay, is it clear to everyone about this? These three attribute selection methods. Is everyone clear with this attribute selection method? We'll go through the sum of this in the next lecture, the Gini impurity, to get a clear idea. So everyone is clear up to this, whatever we discussed today in the lecture? Any doubt? Okay. Okay. What about others? Okay. Okay, yes. Fine. I suppose that everyone is clear with this. And we'll repeat this Gini part, Gini index part in the next lecture also. A little bit we'll get a more brief. So these are the three attribute selection methods that we have. And in the next lecture, we'll discuss the overfitting and underfitting in decision tree classifier. And what are the steps to improve, what are the steps that you can perform to overcome overfitting in your decision tree classifier. We'll also go through one other thing which we haven't discussed yet, to deal with continuous values in decision tree classifier. Okay, continuous values in decision tree classifier. So far we dealt with the categorical form of data, where we had yes, no, outlook, overcast, rainy and sunny, such kind of data we dealt with. Now in next lecture we'll deal with continuous form of data and how to incorporate continuous data in your data set, and how to create decision tree classifier for the same. That we'll discuss in the next lecture. And we'll discuss our overfitting, underfitting, and the best overfitting and underfitting cases in the case of decision tree classifier, and how to overcome this. So that will be our final lecture in case of decision tree classifier. So everyone is clear up to this, I suppose. And what you do today is, today you try to, for example, if you want to take the snapshot of this particular data set, then take it right now. And what you do is, just a minute, not this data set. Okay, this is the data set, and try to calculate the information, try to create the entire decision tree for this particular data set using the ID3 algorithm. That is your first task today. In the next lecture, come up with the entire decision tree and try to create the entire decision tree using the ID3 algorithm, and check that whether you are getting proper calculation, whether you are facing any difficulty in the calculation or not. And so that we can discuss that in the next lecture. If you are facing any difficulty, we'll discuss. Fine. So everyone is clear with today's task that everyone has to do. You have to create a decision tree using using the ID3 algorithm. So you are already aware of the formulas that you have, information gain and entropy formula you have already. So try to create the entire decision tree in the next lecture we'll discuss if you are facing any difficulty. Okay, is it clear everyone? So come up with the decision tree of entire trace decision tree in the next lecture. Okay, for this particular data set, take the snapshot if you want. Okay, I suppose everyone has filled the attendance as well. Okay, fine. So now I'll be ending the meeting. So we'll meet in the next lecture and try to finish this particular decision tree by next lecture so that we can discuss this. Fine? Fine. Thank you.